Well, hello. Welcome back to the grind. It's me again. Out here on the... what happened there? I don't know. On the BMW 2002 1976 variety. Anyhow, last week I did this side here. This week we installed this part, which is the fender holder thing. Made about 5 versions of this thing on the 3D printer. Looks pretty close to the same as that now, and it fits pretty tight. This thing here, we did this side this week. Haven't put any paint on it yet. We'll do that, and it all went together reasonably okay. I had to rebuild this edge here. Look, there's a pinhole. I gotta fix that. Anyway, and then I went after fixing up this stuff here that goes into the engine compartment here, the firewall stuff. So that all gets down to the bottom. I had to replace the bottom, had to replace a bunch of these on the top, had to replace this edge here, and otherwise, that's, cleaned up all the rust and fixed it all up. Still a little bit of dolly and hammer work on here just to get that to sit flat and nice, which I will do. So there you go, and just lots of cutting and welding today, or this week. So we'll see you. Stick around, enjoy it, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Okay, I'm back for another round of BMW 2002, as they would say in Europe. This last time was this side here got put together. It's actually, look, I painted, put it back. Let's put some black paint on there just to cover things up. That side there is okay. Now I'm back to fitting this bumper thing. Now once the bumper thing goes on there, then the tray for the what do you call that thing? Tray for the battery goes up above it here somehow or other. But we'll get to that after. So I think what I'm going to do is do this, fit that and get that right. Then I'll do this side here, which is pretty well a copy of what I did last time. Then I have to fix up this thing here, which is, that part goes onto there, kind of. That part goes underneath the window, kind of. And we'll see if I can get it back to right. The previous owner looks like he cut all the rust off of here, so I don't have many clues left about what it was like. I'll have to get a picture online and see what it's supposed to look like. Anyway, that's coming soon to a channel near you. What's this? That's a piece of something. A piece of something that was something. Eh? Don't know. Maybe that. What he was making here. What could be. Sure looks like it fits in there, doesn't it? Oh, there, thank you. I'll go ahead and use that. Isn't that something? Just look around a bit and you find all the bits. Okay, that goes on there. Now I wonder if there's a piece made to go on the bottom of this somewhere. I'll have to look. Pretty darn close with that fitting. The distance here is, whoops. So from that tab out, 42 millimeters. Wow, 142 millimeters. Tab out there, 142 millimeters, right? Then, I don't know what fell there, but something did. Bumper is level there. Bumper is level there.
you know, a little tiny bit off, but I'm happy with that.
I've got 2 spacers underneath that, so I'll have to take that out, see if I can bend that flange just a bit more so that it's 2 spacers down, which shouldn't be too tough to do. Then it's got a spacer, I don't know, you can see that, it's put some spacers there. That I'll weld on there later, right onto the side of that thing. And then I'll weld this down to the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? It needs to be welded at the bottom there. Anyhow, that's gonna fit. I put a plate across here, and this is the leftover from that other thing there. Oh, come on in there. There, you fit a minute ago. So I put that right across there, and that'll fit right on there, and that's what I'll do, is I'll put that piece on there. Gotta take the plastic out of there, so before I weld on that, then I'll weld it all together once I get it sorted out. Okay, here I am on, this is the side that's already there, right? And you see down, can you see down here? That plate comes from here and across the top of that. So I made a plate right there, and I've clinkoed it on, and so I can take that out of here, weld that plate to, and then I'll do that butt weld once I put, so that'll make, plug weld all those solid, butt weld this solid, that'll make that everything good on it. Okay. Yeah, now I'll plug weld this on here, and lots of plug welds, but I want it to be solid. And then I'll put it in. We'll butt weld this, and then we'll get this thing plug welded down to the inside. And that should be plenty solid. Yeah, sometimes it works out pretty good. That's nice welds, but it's so nice. It's nice to work on brand new material when you're working on, like, especially 16 gauge. Oh, I should just fill that hole. No, does that need to be filled? Yes, I'll fill that hole. When you're working on 16 gauge, it's easy welding, right? Okay, I'll just fill that Kinko hole there that I missed before, and there's a hole right there that I missed. Okay. Yeah, so in a former life, I know, can you see the color there, golden color? That was grazed on there, down in there. So now to get around that, so I made this little thing here. Oh, I'll reach way down here. So I'll put that on, and that'll solid up that edge there. And that's something. Anyway, but that'll go on first, and then I'll finish up doing the this thing. Well, there, that's all welded in there, and I put in that little brace at the bottom of it here. Down at the bottom, I put that right there. That brace for the that rail there that goes all the way back. Then the top is welded, butt welded there, and this is plug welded down there. So I'm happy with that. Looks the same as this. Not really sure what they have on the inside of that for welding, but that's the way this one is. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be plenty strong for what it's got to do. Now, next is on the list is to see if we get this piece here off without too much damaging stuff. Okay. Yeah, well, that took a bit of violence, but anyway, the see how this is all, like, you can, that's cracked all the way along there. So I really need to cut it back to about here, and then down and along there, and then down and along, and then across there, across at the bottom there. Then remake, like, put a new piece in with the flange on it here, because this, up here. I've got it. There's nothing left there except for seam sealer. Hey, it's all just rusted out. So the other side was in pretty good shape still, but this one here is. So what I'll do is I'll cut this out here. Oops, there. Cut it across here and here, and remake that piece to this end, and then make this piece down here so that it's got good solid backing and a good flange on it for this to go around. But I'll do it with like I'll cut this out carefully. Well, how careful am I don't know, but I'll cut it out fairly carefully up to around there so that I can put that piece, make that piece exactly the same and put it right back in there. Okay, same as on the other side. This part here I'm going to leave because I think it's no problem with that. It's solid. There is some work to do down here, but we'll get to that. That's just like little patches in there to make that right, and then some little patches along, well, more than little, but a patch along here to make this better. Anyway, that's enough for today. I'll come back at it again tomorrow and see how we go. Yeah, here I am back again. This did some thinking on this, and what I think I might do, bend that back up into place, is make, like, I'll just make a flange here to replace this metal all along here. So what I'll do is I'll get that straightened out, or make the flange so it fits there nicely. Double check it on the other side, make sure it's the same. Then just cut this whole thing out of here, clean that off, put it on with plug welds, and that should work. Eh? That way it'll be exactly the same. Well, or as close to exactly the same as I can get it. Shinker and stretcher right there. This is a stretcher. And the first bend goes right here with a stretch, right? You can also stretch it just by using an anvil and a chisel, and that'll stretch things out for you. Can't shrink that way, you have to shrink by tucking it. But this thing here, I've got a shrinker here for if I go too far. So that's how much it stretches just by doing that. Now I'll check it out and see how much more we have to go. That's sort of the idea, stretch, stretch, stretch. So now this thing here is going to go on here, so it's got to have quite a bit of stretch to it there yet. Right about there somewhere. So I'll just keep on stretching it until it fits into that corner, and then I'll make this corner coming back with a shrink, and then this corner here with a shrink. Yeah, so method 1 wasn't working very well, and I moved along to method number 2 here. So what I've done, I took that piece that I was sculpting, right, and it cracked there, and then it's very difficult to get that to bend around. So took the piece I was sculpting, cut the flange off it, put just a piece of metal up here on this side, right to there, and then I will weld this onto it, cut the thing out of it, and that will be the flange. So after I get it done, I'll cut this edges away so that I have it all the way I like it. We hope. We'll see. Anyhow, I'll weld this on. You got to just lots of pliers. Pliers are your best friend. Yeah, there we go. That's, I don't know if you can see between all those pliers, but that's all molded down to the same way. So now I'll just pull that off there, weld it onto here, clean off all the extra metal, and then go from there. Yeah, so there's the outline of it all, right? Now maybe I'll just take this and cut it off and then make it and cut and butt it into here, right? And that'll get rid of all that stuff. But I don't want to, this indent here, I don't want to get involved with that, so I'll make it so it goes around that somehow or other. Okay, now there's welded there and welded on the inside. Pretty hot. So I'll cut the outside off of it, then grind that all down so that it's nice and a nice finish. And there's enough weld on there that I'll be able to make a nice corner edge on it, sort of thing. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so there's the piece I have. Now I got to see about getting it. Like what I think I'll do is I'll just cut across there, cut this down close to that line, and then do a bunch of grinding and fitting, grinding and fitting, grinding and fitting till I get it to the line, or to the where I want it to be. What I should do is maybe put a couple of kinkos into it. Like if I think what I'll do is I'll weld a little tab on to go over to here, put a kinko in there, and take that out later, and then weld a tab to go over here somewhere, maybe go over about here somewhere, and I'll put it pointing all over the place, right? So weld the tab across right up top there, weld the tab, put a couple of kinkos in, and then that'll give me the position I want. Because this isn't that thing there. I should have really doing a couple of those before I started doing all this, but I didn't. So anyway, we'll just work at it. Yeah, I've used more kinkos on this project than I've used ever before. Anyhow, I've got a line there drawn now, so I'm going to cut that line, cut that off about that line, but a little bit that side of it, and then I'll slowly work it in to fit it in there. See how that works out. There we go. I got it sort of fitted in there and welding on it. It's like welding paper. So, oh, look who's here. I think Gus is here. Oh, that's Gus coming to see us. Anyway, that's it for the day. Time to go have a beer, right? So we'll see you later. Okay, back at it. So now this stuff here is like welding on paper. Not very thick at all. Don't know what grade it is or what gauge it is, but it's thin. Anyway, I can check that. I will check it. But what I've done is I've got a piece of copper pipe that I flattened out. And I don't know, you can see that? No. But yeah, there, see? So I put that piece of copper pipe behind the weld. It'll absorb some of the heat and keep it from blowing through. And makes it so it'll actually weld, but it's not perfect, but it helps. Okay, I'll check that thickness. Yeah, that took a lot of patience. Even the hole for this stuff here is 24 gauge, which is very, very thin material and difficult to weld, but looks like I got it done. I'll get that grinded off and then snip that off there, put a plate across here, and then that'll be ready to go. And I'll fix up these two things here because they're not in great shape after my mauling of them. Okay, now this was rotted up here also, that little piece, so I bent a piece. It's bent longer than it should be, and it's longer here, so I'll just trim that off and that'll be that done. And I'll put a little bit of a weld along that seam right there. Yeah, there now, this piece will fit on here. That has to be sort of squeezed in, but it'll go. same as the other side did. But first I have to put this piece on here. That black piece over there. Over there, there's a black piece. Anyway, I'll get that out, get it, start setting it, and we'll go with that. I'm going to clean this off down here too and just make sure it's okay. Yeah, so I've done it, the same as the other side. Now this side here came in closer to that edge there anyhow. That's, well, it's not the original edge, so who knows, eh? Anyhow, but now I've lined up the dots, like I made all these dots on here by overlaying the, where is it? Overlaying this piece here that the previous owner quite nicely included with the car, and then I copied all those dots onto the new piece. Now I've got it located pretty close to where I want it on here, and so I'll just go ahead and put some Kinkos in. See, this one here is a little bit over, but the other ones are all right. So I just lined up the dots at each end. Seems to be okay. And now I'll put a couple of Kinkos in. I'll put a Kinko like here, put a Kinko here, and put a Kinko here, and here, and then that'll be good. Okay, I got all these holes drilled into it along here. What size are they? I'll tell you. They're the same size as what is that one right there. 5/16. And that's the same size hole as what this thing here makes, is a 5/16 hole. So that's a good plug weld size. Anyway, there you go. So those are all drilled in, and I'll squeeze it here and then just keep moving on up the path till I get to here. Then I'll work on these ones. I gotta give it a little bit of a touch right here with the welder. I put the outside on the inside, and I'll just weld it on there, and then I'll put the other piece on top of here after. So these patch panels, this is 20 gauge stuff. Usually I use 18 gauge when I'm, like, all the stuff that I make is 18 gauge. So that was 22 gauge, right? Or thinner. Maybe 20, that was 24 gauge, I think, onto 18 gauge, and that makes it so the 18 gauge takes all the heat up on you, for you. Anyhow, this is likely 20 gauge to 20 gauge on this stuff. Yeah, I'll see how this goes. Yeah, there, that didn't take too long. Now I've got to just fix up a couple of these and then grind them. But mostly it came out nicer than that side. I don't know why. Maybe I prepared the metal better. Who knows, eh? But we'll give it a little bit of a grind, then I'll fill in these little tiny holes. Then we'll go down after this stuff. Here now, I put a little bit of a weld along here, and then all these plug welds are plugged up, or spot welds, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, now, got a bit of grinding on that. Oh well, that'll be fine. Anyway, this thing here is done for that part, nice and solid. Now I'll work on this again. Starting with, I forget how I did the other side now. It's been so long, but I think I put this on first, that on next, then fix up this so that it's like there's some rust in that, same as was on the other side. I'll make another little patch for that. Then get it to the right height and everything, and that'll be all that stuff done. Now I can go and I'll tackle some of this. See, that's a hole that's supposed to be there. That's a hole that's supposed to be there and let the water out. Didn't drain out just as well as it should have over there. Okay. Yeah, so these ones here, to get them to hold in, you can't clamp in behind there or anything, so I just put a couple of self-tappers onto them and held them in with the self-tapper, and then like I tapped that one, did that one and that one, I tapped that one, did that one and that one, tapped that one, did that one and that one, oh, that one and that one, and then they were all done. I pulled the self-tappers and, what am I trying to say? Pulled the self-tappers out and did those holes that were there. Okay. Yeah, so I have my laser level set up again here, and this side here like comes right there at the edge of that. This side a little bit like 4 or 5 millimeters above it, so yeah, it doesn't take much to push it down to it. Yeah, when it comes in, that's right. So out there it's wrong, in here it's pretty close to right. So I can work with that. This part here, when I welded it on, it was on a bit of an angle like that, so I just bent it back into the right spot. Now I'll make some plug weld holes along here, and then figure out where these ones here we're going to hit it, somewhere in here. Anyway, that's coming up next. So I just put the small little patch in here where this was rusting. I didn't do the top part because it was okay, and I didn't do the bottom part because it was okay. But right along this edge here it was rusted. So I just cut it back to about here, put a little patch in there, and that looks all right. That'll be good. Yeah, that's on there now, and looks pretty good. So the level thing comes right on there, and it's the same distance from here, from back there to here, over there, and here. So, and I didn't check this distance across here, but I'm pretty sure, I'll check the distance. Wait a minute. Yeah, so from this thing in the center here, that bolt hole in the center, to here is 1 millimeter longer on this side than it is on that side. So that's sort of the width of a piece of steel, right? So, okay, we'll live with that. Now, that's it for today anyhow. So we got this in. I'll finish welding this up tomorrow, and that goes into there like that. And I'll get the height right on this thing here. I took out the headlight bucket, so of course it bolts on here, 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 and here. Where am I pointing? Here, 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 and here. And don't you know, the bolts broke, or the studs broke, but that's okay. We'll just fix that later. That'll be coming soon to a YouTube channel near you, right? But it looks all right. Everything looks symmetrical up front here. So I'm pretty sure I can go and test fit the fenders now, but I won't do that. I'll do this next, that centerpiece there. Might have to learn how to TIG weld to do that. That'd be interesting. Yeah, there. That's all in there, grinded up. That's all in there, grinded up. Now the next challenge is, that's looking pretty good. And I've, try number 5 on this thing here. I've got that pretty well to the right size there now. For replace that. It's just a centering piece there. Keeps it from rattling back and forth inside there, perhaps. Now next, this thing. So this is, it goes up close to there. I guess I have to do some repair work on the frame of the car, up right where the windshield wiper stuff goes in there. Same over there, rusted. So I guess I gotta take the, I have to take the windshield out, which isn't too difficult. The duct tape has done its job so far. I'll put it somewhere safe, or maybe I'll just take it and put it right in my car and take it to the repair place, see if they can fix that, which happened on the way home from Ontario. This one here is okay, mostly. A little bit of a place right there. Is that rusted? We'll just check that into that. And I might have to take the dashboard out, but that's later. First off, I'm going to rebuild this piece here, which is the piece that goes between this wall, which is hanging there, and underneath the where the windshield wipers come through. Guess that all has to be put back together, eh? We'll see. Okay, that's coming up too. Now, the previous owner had cut this out. Looked like he cut it with a plasma cutter. Comes pretty, like it's pretty close to fitting this thing. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take a piece of, this is just like, I don't know what gauge that is, 24? Real thin. So I'm going to take a piece of 18 gauge, copy that onto there. I'll make it just a bit longer in every place. Like I'll cut to the outside of that, of the black line, then I can grind it back some. So we'll just see how that works out. Oh, sorry, I've got it fairly close to being ready. Well, as ready as it's going to be. It'll take some more trimming over here, but I think I've got most of the pieces coming together fairly close. So I'm going to start welding on it, and then I'll grind it back to, but it's very thin material, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's all, excuse me, that's all welded along here now. That was not as hard as I thought it would be, but I did put my piece of copper behind so that it wouldn't blow through, and that helped out quite a bit. Then this bit here that's angled, I waited till last for that, and then I took it over on the anvil and pounded it to be the right angle on that thing, then put it together. These things here, I just shortened up the divot here. Same on this. This one's normal. This one here I shortened up the divot so that it would fit flat there. Now down here there's, don't know what's going on there. There's markings to do something there. So maybe it needs some new metal there, but I don't know. Hard to say. Might be okay. Take a look at it. Yeah, there. That's back together. Oh, got to do a bit of grinding right there again, and a bit of grinding right there. So there's a couple of holes down here that are just patched up with welding them up, and put a patch in behind a couple of spots, because otherwise you got to start cutting it up, and I didn't want to cut it up too badly. Seems that all the holes are still in the same place, right? And it seems to fit where it's supposed to be, which is right over here. Goes underneath there like that, and then over to here. That's where it's supposed to sit later, after I fix that stuff up. Okay, well that's all right. Coming along. I'll take this piece out here now and see if I can fix that up. Whatever it's supposed to do, I don't know, but needs some work. We'll tackle the low-hanging fruit first. So these pieces were, like this one goes here. I'll make a piece like that, and then like that, and then like that, and there's one more somewhere. Wonder what it is with it. Oh, it's underneath here. One like that. They're pretty easy to do, right? So I'll just, that'll take a look after the top of it, and it looks like everything else on the top. Well, no, because this has got to have a flange on it, but I think I have to sort of engineer that as it fits onto the car. And then this underneath here. Interesting, right? But we'll fix that. Okay, that's coming soon. Now that's got, I don't know if that's supposed to be, no it's not. But I'll see if I can fix that up a bit. Yeah, there's piece number 1. Got that little funny lip on it. Only hit my fingers 3 or 4 times with the hammers of doing that. So it slides right in like that. It's pretty close to what it should look like. So I'll put that, whoops, I'll weld that in and I'll give you a show, I'll show it to you. Yeah, so there's patch number 1 in, and it looks, it'll be all right, right? It'll be fine. There was also a hole here that I sort of just patched behind. Can you see that back there? And then grounded off on the surface here to make it look good. I don't know what surface you see from in there. I think you see both surfaces. Well, underneath there you can't see it, so that'll be good. I'll get these ones here tomorrow, and then I'll start tackling this. This will be a challenge, eh? Oh well, we'll figure it out. I'll see you. Yep, see you tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Did you miss me yesterday? I was away doing other stuff. Sometimes I have to do other stuff besides this. So I'm back, and I've got that patch put in there. I'll make another one to put in here. They aren't as simple as what they seem to be because it's fairly thin material and kind of weak in a couple of spots. But we'll get that done. 3/4. And then this thing here, this is interesting. I'll likely have to make a piece that goes from here right across there and captures all this stuff here, and then out and then down. That, well, maybe I'll make it in 2 pieces. I'll make this half to the center here because it's got this dip-de-doo here. Not too serious a dip-de-doo there, but that'll be easier to do, and put a seam here. Okay, anyway, here I go. I'll get this piece here done. When I get down to the end here, I'll show you how, I'll show you this small one because that's, you know, that's not that boring, right? Yeah, so I've got that one patched up there, that one patched up here. This is the first one, ugly. Second one, getting a bit better. Third one, I did pretty nice on this one. This one here, I'll show you how I do it. Now this is the culmination of 3 tries. That try I just fitted a piece in there and tried to butt weld it at the edges here, which was, didn't work very well. This one here, I fitted a piece in and I pushed it in all the way and overlapped, lap welded just this edge here. This one here, I was able to, a little bit better metal here anyhow too, but butt welds here, and lap weld there. That's what I'll do on this one here. So here's, I'll cut it a little bit wider than that, right? And a bit longer than that, so that it's got room for that little bend thing, which I've made on each one. Now that's a challenge too, but I'll show you how I did it. Okay, I'll cut this up and I'll come back. Yeah, so I've cut this so it's just a bit longer than it needs to be, and a bit longer than it needs to be that way. And I'll put this bend at the end here now. I have to get this out of the vise and do that. Hang on. Yeah, so there. Can you see that? That's that little tiny piece. Like, I've got that piece into the vise. This is making that first part of the lip on it, right? Lots of tapping. But then only use a light hammer for it. Now, I'll change things around here and I'll come back and show you. And now I've got it set into the vise so that it's like that. And I'm going to take this chisel and just start pushing it over. I'll see if I can set you up where you can see this. Wonder where I can put you. I'll have to put you over here, I think. There. Round about there, right? Okay. So this will get it started on the bend, right? Now to finish it on the bend, I'll just turn it upside down sort of thing. Can you see that? That makes that little hook at the end. Okay, now I'll leave you running. Put this back in the vise. It's going to fit right in here. Can you see all that? Can you see any of that? No. And cut off that little bit there. A little bit more trimming to do. I'll bring you back. Now, a little bit of an angling here. It's pretty close to just about the right length, but I think I could trim it off just to more than that. I think they're okay. I can grind this off later. I'll take a little tiny bit. Take a little tiny bit off this edge. I gotta shut you off. Okay, here. Took a tiny bit off that edge, and the inside of the corner lines up nice now. Now my little grippy things. Yeah, there, that's welded in now. I'll just grind it off and see how it looks after that. I don't think there's any holes, I think. And did you know this is, oh, that's hot, piece of copper. I put the piece of copper behind where I'm welding. There's a couple of little pinholes right there. I'll fix them before I grind, and then I'll show you what I'm, well, I'll just turn you on again and put you over here, right? Here we go. Yeah, there, that'll be okay now. I'll just put a skim of filler on the whole thing, and that'll, after I get it into the car. There's other stuff that goes on top of it, like this piece here goes on about there, like that. So that'll hide a lot of it, and that'll all be plug welded in there. And then after that, I'll just put a skim of filler on this little bit up here. Now, the next part is, let me just see here. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This part down here, I'm gonna get this up here. There. Yeah, so all of this has to be replaced. And I said I'm going to do it in 2 halves. So I'm going to do this half first, because it doesn't have that hole there. And then I'll do that half afterwards and see if I can get that hole into the spectrum of things. So I'll make a piece, fit it onto here, and then go from there. Yeah, so I got to building on the next piece here. I got away on you, hey? Anyhow, so I made these 2 pieces. Pretty simple to make in the bender, just like that and like that. But then how do I get this thing in the middle to work? So I just made a little piece like that with those bends in it and the right dip in it, and welded these pieces onto it. Like I clamped it all and welded them onto it. Now I'm going to cut this whole thing off at that level there, or a little bit lower maybe, no, right there at that level. Then I'll figure out how to get this into the right spot. It might, well, we'll see. Anyway, I'll cut that across there and cut that across there with the plasma cutter, and then we'll see what comes next here. Yeah, there, so I just cut that off with the plasma cutter. Where's the other end of it? It's still on the table over here. Well, clamped over here. There's a piece of it. Gone. Now I have to figure out how to do these holes, but I'm not going to do that until I have it on all in one piece there. Then I'll sort of figure that out. Likely I can drill 2 holes and then cut in between. See. We'll see about that. That'll be a challenge. Don't know if I should do it. Maybe I'll do it before I put it on all together here. That way it'll be easier, I think. We'll see. Anyway, and then the other piece is over here too. I'll get it off of the cutting room floor, right? There. There's the other piece here. That's all gone, right? So now, where am I here? This piece, like I've got to put it on. I'm gonna lap weld this, like right there, about right there, something like that, and I'll lap weld it on both sides, I think, if I can. But first I'll just clean this off, and I got to clean the other side off. Then I'll start thinking about how to get it all together again. All the king's horses, right? And all the king's men. And then there's these two things here, which are, these are, I'll take them off. They're for holding on to electrical devices, whatever you call them. Relays. A couple of relays go there. There's a bunch of relays go along there, I think. But I don't know that for a fact. Okay, I'll see what I can do about getting this all together again. Yeah, there now, that's sort of on there. Now I'll have to figure out this angle and this angle, cut them off. Oh, excuse me. And I'll figure out where these the holes go in here and along here. Mostly I can, it's self-evident because there's a dippy thing there, and there was another dippy thing somewhere else right here. So I need to put a hole there, but that'll be later. I won't weld around that until I get that hole in there. And then where else? Right here? Yeah, right there. I could likely get that with a hole saw. Yep. Okay, now this one, these two holes, so one here. Where am I? The evidence, right? So this is the evidence. Where is this go? Like this. Oh, this is this side. So the hole goes in about that's, I've got this on backwards. You dummy. No, that's not on backwards. Is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? Oh dear. What did I do? No, it's on right because there's that side there. Whew. Sometimes I just scare myself. Eh? Oh yeah, there's the rest of that hole there. So that's where the hole is. Right there. So this thing goes right about there somewhere. And it's got a divot on it there. I don't know how to, don't know how to make that. I think I'll live without the divot this time because it's heavier steel than this stuff is. I think they put the divot there just to make a bit of strength in the panel. So, where am I pointing under? Okay, so I'll figure out where this one goes. From there to there. Then I'll figure out on the other side where that one goes. And then we'll see if I can get those holes made there and there. Yeah, they're, oh, sorry, those holes are in there. I just used like a 3/4 inch hole saw and made 2 holes and then centered it out. That one's nicer than this one, but they're both all right. Then these other holes, there's a hole that goes where, right here. I'm going to wait until after this is all welded in, and then I'll do that. And another hole goes over here, and once this is all welded in, then I'll clean out that. Then I have to trim it off here, sort of thing, so it'll fit in the car. Trim it there, sort of thing. Then we'll see where we go from there. So it's pretty near. I'm gonna start welding on this. Just like I've got it overlapping by 1/4 inch or so. So I'll lap weld it on here. I'll turn it over and lap weld it on the other side so that it's good and solid. Then this piece will be serviceable. I'm going to, build flanges and just put them on the car and then plug weld this to it. That way it'll be in the exact right spot instead of me trying to figure it out, right? But I'll figure that out as I get it into the car. But that'll be later because I got to fix some rust up there before I do any welding, anything in the interior here. Okay. There, I think I'm all set to start welding on it. So I'll just weld my way along. I've got I'll keep moving the pliers along as I move along. Anyway, I'll show you as I get along. Yeah, here I am lap welding this. I don't know, can you see this? Yeah, I made the bead over here pretty good, pretty nice. So, show you what I'm doing. Yeah, there's about half of it done. Now if you're, what's going on there? Anyway, if you're watching, so I start. I don't know. Can you see what am I looking at here? Oh yeah, there it is. So I start the weld on the new metal, and then I roll it onto there. And see, it only gets a couple of little tiny pinholes, but I start here and roll it onto there, all the way along. So now I'm going to go across this side here. So I need another pair of pliers down here somewhere. Get that all to come together. And you've seen enough of it, I think, have you? Anyway, I'll carry on. Yeah, that's welded all the way along on this side. I'll turn it over. There's a hole that goes here, so I'll put that in before I do any more welding, and another hole that goes right there. But that's all. I'll turn it over, weld on the other side, and then see how things should be. Well, it's pretty solid now anyhow. See how things come together. Okay, now here's this side welded on, and I'll do it grinding on it tomorrow, but it looks like it's not bad, and I'll be able to just sort of straighten it out a bit with a hammer and a dolly, where it's a little bit warped in a couple of places, but not badly done. So that panel is all set to go back to the car soon. Anyway, that's good. Put it over here for now. Good. All right, that's enough for today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Yeah, here I am back at it, and oh, don't you know, had to move a bit of snow around this morning. Maybe 6 inches. Guess I got to do a little bit of shoveling right there. Okay. Yeah, so here now, where am I? I've got to knock the heads off of all those welds along here. Need a bit of welding there to fill in that Pico hole. Got most of them done. And then over on this end, but I'll get the hole drilled here before I do that. Don't know what that hole is for, but we'll drill a hole there. Then I have to cut this off sort of at that angle there, so it'll fit into the car. Same on here, this sort of goes at that angle there, so it'll fit into the car. Then we'll figure it out. I got to flip it over and do the other side. Yeah, there, that's gonna fit after a while. I still got to do a little bit of pounding on it to straighten it out into where I want it to be. I've left it open down below there. That'll let water drain out of there, number one. And number two, it'll allow it a little bit of flex. So it looks like I have to bend those flanges a little bit more, not much. Oh yeah, it kind of comes up flat there. We'll just see. That'll take some massaging, but for the most part, it's going to be all right. Now I have to get after this, fix this up so I can put it all together. Huh, cool. This thing here needs some, see, it's all a little bit wonky on the top there, so I'll just take it to the anvil and do a little bit of work on it. Now, that's it for this video. We'll come back next week with fixing up on the window there and get the window out of it and stuff like that. This thing here, just so you know, what's it do? It goes right here. Wait, I'll mock fit this on there and then I'll show you. Yeah, so that'll go on something like that. Needs some straightening out yet, but we'll get there with all of the straightening. That actually turned out all right. So, hope you enjoyed it all. Come on back next week. We'll do more. Putting together the BMW. Yeah, that'll slide in there. Look at that. Fits. Don't you know? What do you know? Okay, that's it for this week. Make sure you like and subscribe, and come on back for more. See you then. Yeah, in the middle of January 2025. cold today. But it's -5 or -6 Celsius. What's that? Maybe 25 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. And a little bit of snow coming down, as it does every day. Like there's just a skiff of snow every day, but it's slowly accumulating. No ice out here. Oh, look at that. There's a ship coming in. Just in time to see the oil tanker. That's the, I think it's called the Acadian, that one. Can you see that? Very silently making its way into the Charlottetown Harbor. Doesn't really waste any time getting in there. Buster doesn't care. We care. That's quite cool. Now, usually at this time of year, there's lots of ice, and there'd be an icebreaker going in ahead of him, but no ice, no icebreakers. Cool. I'll just follow him in until he gets to the point there. Then you can see actually how fast it's going. It's going pretty fast. I'll speed it up or something so you don't have to endure it, hey? There, he's getting pretty close to the edge of the cliff there now. Yeah, I haven't seen any ships come in here for a while. And there is a little bit of a skiff of ice out there on the edge of the cove. There he goes, into the... Moves along pretty quickly. That's oil supply for Charlottetown. There you go. Buster still doesn't care. Anyway, see you later.